Okay, this is another way to do it. And this is how we do it here on cars that are being restored. So you can see what I've done is I've trimmed back the hole a 1/4 inch. Now I have patterns to show me exactly where that needs to be. All right, and then I've trimmed back the flange so that instead of a 3/4 inch piece for overlap, we've only got now a little 1/4 inch piece on the edge. See, now before this edge for the bonnet was out here where I showed you before. Well, now we've trimmed it back a 1/4 inch, and now we've trimmed this, and then we have fitted this. Now the fitting of this is difficult because once you trim this 1/2 inch off of here, it changes the shape, because we've shrinked and stretched it, and so now it's relieved that outer part, so it doesn't fit anymore. So then you've got to get the shrinker stretcher back out and refit it right to this little line here. All right, and you can see how these are the original holes. Sometimes I've had to cut right through them, and then sometimes they're still out there, and sometimes they're gone. And that is just a function of how they cut this bonnet by hand and fitted that bucket originally. So now this is tacked in with a MIG. These will now be ground down, and then I will TIG along this whole line, and then I'll grind that down. All right, so I'll show you. I was going to say in a minute, but for me it'll be several hours of the other 3 flanges tacked in as well. And here's how I do it. I just start at one end and start working my way in. And you can see the fit is not absolutely perfect, but you actually want a little bit of a gap when you're taking it in there, so that'll be fine. Just trying to get it as close as I can. All right, and then I put these little marks on there to keep track of it. Now you can see it's really running off up here. See, and I can't even push that in. So I'm just going to continue to use my shrinker stretcher, just a standard Lancaster shrinker stretcher that grabs it on the edge like that. All right. Actually, this is not a standard. I modified this with some special dies. Usually they look like that. But anyway, that's what you do. So now I'll just come along and say, okay, I got to start making a change here, and see it's got to go this way and curved. So you really don't want to do this. You want to just take those and underlap them like I showed you before, but I'm just showing you how we do it here. Okay, I've got this piece now fully fitted, and that took exactly 1 hour. That gap there is a little wider than I'd like to see, so I might have a little more finagling to do. So this just goes to show you how long this stuff takes. It is not the 30 seconds that you see in the video. Okay, so there's that one tacked in. That was 1 hour and 15 minutes. And that came out pretty well. As you tack it, if you know what you're doing, the welds will pull it in. So where you've got a gap, if you have that knowledge in the back of your mind, you can kind of work the gaps closed depending on how you weld it. So that's really nice there. Now we will grind those down and smooth that all out. Maybe do a little bit of hammer and dolly work to make it just real smooth. Then we'll TIG it. Now we've got to do the same thing over here. This side was damaged. In a previous video, we did a lot of hammer and dolly work to smooth this out. Actually, that video might come out after this one. But anyway, now we're going to put these in. You can see right here, I've put a mark. They cut this one a little sloppy, so I'm going to need to add a 1/16 there. We'll see how that goes. And then also they drilled some bigger holes after an accident, so we're going to need to fill them in as well. But first we'll tack those flanges in. Okay, I know this looks like the work of an insane person, but this is what you need to keep this tight. And this side's a little messier, so as far as the panels that we started out with. And you can see where right here, I elected to just go ahead and weld a little patch in to that section that was a little wide there from that original cut at the factory. So now it's time to tack this one in. I've spent a little over an hour fitting this one. This one was really tough. Okay, I now have all 4 flanges tacked into place. And I'm not too worried about these seams here. I've just got them kind of okay. Well, I'll take this apart and I will improve that edge. And I'll build it up just like a Series 1. So there's that side there. Here's this side here. It was a little trickier because we've got some damage, but that's all tacked in there too. So now it's time to grind down these little tacks, get everything smooth, do a final little fitting. I don't know if you can see, sometimes the pieces ride up on each other and we need them to be just as smooth as we can possibly get it before we TIG it in. So we'll grind that all down and then we'll go ahead and TIG it. Some of these bigger holes on this side, I might actually get them with a pair of plug welding pliers. Has a little copper backer, and then I will just shoot a little MIG in there, so we'll see, because that's kind of a big hole to be TIGging up for me anyway. Okay, this is going all right, but I'm starting to get some contamination. See this brown there? I think there's this bonnet's not blasted the way that I usually do it. I had to go ahead and jump on this job, and so it's cleaned up. It had been blasted and stripped years ago, but there's a little junk on the bottom side, so I need to clean that up. And also, this is a very tricky weld here, and I'm going to go ahead and take this apart and flip it over so this is flat. So I got gravity helping me, not hurting me. And so that's as far as I'm going to go on this one. I'll do the other one the same way. You can see where I've filled in the big holes. And then I'll go ahead and take this apart and finish it up after I clean up the backside a little bit. Okay, I came up with a better idea here. I just undid one of my wires and lowered one side down, because I want to get this done while it's all together. So I'm going to go ahead and move forward now. Okay, that worked out really well. And I didn't have any contamination problems. I think I was starting to, because I was in an uncomfortable weld position and I was putting too much heat in and kind of melting what's on the bottom side up through the top. So this side is all done. So now I'm going to try this crazy tilting to get the other side done. Okay, we're all done the TIG welding and it came out great. So you can still see the remnants of the little holes where the 1.5 scoop was riveted in. I actually had some trouble with this one. This one turned into kind of a big blowout. Here's that. And then here's the other side. This is where we had our accident damage that was already fixed. So that's in there. And now what I've got to do is take it apart. I will grind this weld down. I'll do a little hammer and dolly work. I'll grind some of the backside down, but not much. Just what I need to kind of hammer and dolly this smooth. Got a little tiny bit of wrinkling right there. What's nice about putting the weld right here, it's a 1/4 inch away from this edge, and that really kind of works as a stiffener, and you don't get the shrinking and wrinkling. And then I've got to do all of this down here. See this? See how this little flange here ends, like right about there? Well, it needs to come all the way up to here. So I will doctor it. See how you can see in there? There's just kind of nothing back there. So I will doctor that all up after I take it apart. And the trick is to not move this stuff, because as you can see, I've got it right where I want it. Sorry, I hope you're not getting sick here from the moving. Same thing over here. This one's a little better. There's a little more flange, but it needs to come all the way up. There's the weld on the back side. So I'm pretty happy with how that turned out.